Hi, I'm Dr. Rob Danoff for Jefferson Health, and this is for medical news you can use. It's the warm season, it's summertime, it's also swimming time, and we want to try to avoid something called RWIs. What's an RWI? It's called recreational water illness. Have you ever known someone who's got an eye infection or an ear infection, maybe diarrhea or skin infection after swimming in a public pool or a private pool or even a lake or the ocean? Well, it's not that uncommon. So how do we avoid them? Well, first of all, say you're going to a pool, a public pool, and you see a lot of people in there, and then before you get in the water, you see a sign that says, please take a shower before I go in. And you're thinking, why should I take a shower? I'm going to get wet anyway. Well, here's the reason. Our body's sweat has pneumonia and urea, but there's also bacteria. And say you've gone to the bathroom recently, you want to make sure that's clean. So the reason why you take a shower going into a public pool or say your friend's pool is to clean all that off. If we go in and our bodies are dirty, we have all this other stuff, it's going to use up the chlorine. And in fact, it's estimated that 30% of the chlorine is used up in these big public pools by all the people in there. That brings me to chlorine. Who here has ever gone to the pool and smelled chlorine and said, oh, there's extra chlorine, it must be really clean? Well, guess what? If you can smell chlorine or an odor to the pool, it means the pool is not clean. The chlorine is starting to be used up by contaminants in the pool, and then it starts to outgas. And then if you smell that, it's in the air, that means that the pool water is most likely dirty. And that outgassing can really irritate the eyes, cause red eyes. How else can you tell if the water is not so good to go into? Well, look at the color. For example, who here has seen pink slimy stuff with bubbles near the ladders in the pool? Well, you know what? If you see that or it feels kind of slimy, that's bacteria. Has anyone ever seen a greenish tint to the pool? Well, if it's sort of like a pea green, that could mean that there's some algae there. Or if it's a very light green or kind of reddish brown, that could mean there's something wrong with the plumbing. Also, you want to make sure, you know those drain covers that you usually can see at the bottom, you know, that you use for the filter, they draw up the water? If it's so cloudy that you can't see that, the pool water is probably dirty. Who can go into a pool? Well, anybody, but if you ever had diarrhea or a stomach illness, you actually need to wait 2 weeks before you go into a pool. Why, you say? Well, doc, I'm feeling better. Well, the thing is, if you had a bout of diarrhea, sometimes a little of that can leak, even after you're feeling better. So the recommendations are you wait 2 weeks before going into a pool. And have you ever seen those young toddlers in the pool? They're wearing these waterproof diapers that their parents have on them, and they're, being held safely. Well, if you see a toddler in a pool and they're not yet potty trained, best to avoid that pool. Now, what about the ocean? Well, you never see, like when you have a big rainstorm, right? You see the water in the streets, they go into the sewers. Well, if you ever go on the beach, some beaches have these large water pipes. Well, guess what they drain? Yeah, some of that sewer water or wastewater goes out there. So you want to wait at least 24 hours after a big rainstorm to go into the ocean. The other thing and last thing, it's a really hot day, right? And you see these wonderful recreational water fountains and you say, yeah, why not go in there, dip my feet in there? Well, if you ever go around some of those fountains, what kind of birds tend to hang out there? Yes, pigeons. So you want to try to avoid that, and public fountains are not cleaned. So they don't have chlorine or other type of chemicals in there to keep them clean. They don't have filtration systems. So to try to avoid recreational water illnesses, let's do it safely. Let's go into water that we know is clean. And if it's a public pool, they have to have safety inspections there. Always make sure there's a lifeguard present. If you're going swimming, please make sure that there's a buddy or someone else there. And also, if you have a young kid, even if they're very trustworthy, always keep a watch on them. And whether you're by the beach or a pool, they can just get lost in the water very quickly. So always keep within hand distance of holding them. So have a safe summer, everyone, and avoid those recreational water illnesses. Take care.